How strong would Naruto be if he were in the Dragon Ball universe? This is a question many fans of both Naruto and Dragon Ball have asked over the years, and everyone has a different opinion on where Naruto would place. Seth the programmer did a video on this topic, but I wanted to give my own take on this, so check out his video if you haven't already if you want to see how our opinions differ. First, I'm going to try and find where Naruto would place when it comes to pure power alone. Basically, what his power level would be if he were in Dragon Ball. After acquiring his Sage of Six Paths powers, he was able to destroy giant meteors created by Madara that spanned the area of an entire country. With his clones, he threw 9 different Rasen Shuriken, each having the chakra of a different tailed beast fused with it to create a massive explosion big enough to where the curvature of the planet could be seen. With the power given to them by the Sage of the Six Paths, they were able to seal Kaguya by creating a moon around her. After absorbing the power of the tailed beasts into his perfect Susanoo, Kurama stated Sasuke was practically on the level of the Sage of the Six Paths, the guy who gave them the power to create said moon. By using his clones and collecting Sage energy, Naruto was able to match this power. During this fight, Naruto actually only had one half of Kurama, so it stands to reason he got even stronger after getting the other half. In the movie Naruto the Last, Toneri was able to easily cut the moon in half, and he could even use this attack multiple times per fight. And Naruto was able to run right through this attack and deck Toneri right in the face. Over the years, Naruto arguably got even stronger, but he didn't really get the feats to prove it. That being said, there are enough feats to back up Naruto being around moon level. I don't necessarily think he can straight up blow up the moon in one attack, as Naruto has never made an explosion quite that big. However, he has massive chakra reserves and he should be able to destroy the moon before running out of energy. Even the Ten Tails has so much chakra the sensory ninjas said it was almost like its own planet. And Naruto is even more powerful than the Ten Tails, as the Sasuke he matched was basically the power of the Ten Tails plus the power of Sasuke. And Naruto and Sasuke were arguably stronger than the Ten Tails themselves, considering they were stronger than Obito with the power of the Ten Tails within him. So where does this put Naruto's power in comparison with Dragon Ball characters? Well, Roshi with a full power Kamehameha was able to destroy the moon. However, we don't actually know how powerful that version of Roshi truly is. King Piccolo destroyed a city and had energy to spare, and the guidebook says he has the power of a small nuke, and Yajirobe made a big deal about Goku beating a guy who could destroy an entire city, so him being city level is backed up by feats and statements. According to the guidebook, he and Goku at this time both had power levels of 260. During the 23rd Budokai tournament, Piccolo was able to create a massive blast that engulfed the entire island, and Goku was able to tank it. Goku's Super Kamehameha at this time supposedly had the power to destroy the moon according to the guide, which isn't out of the realm of possibility since Roshi destroyed the moon earlier in Dragon Ball. But since this is really only backed up by a guidebook statement, I would take it with a grain of salt. Especially since Piccolo had to charge up that attack just to make an explosion that covered an island. Though the guide said the island was the size of a small continent, however, the visuals go against that notion. As the blast seems to originate somewhere close to the center of the island, yet the ocean is visible from the battlefield. Goku did tank it though, so their power at this point should at least be island level. And if you go by guidebook statements, possibly small continent to moon level. A few years later though, they finally get the feats to back up moon level power. After the fight with Raditz, Piccolo blew up the moon to reverse Gohan's Great Ape transformation. He was noticeably tired after doing so though, so I think moon level is around where they cap out at this point. Right after destroying the moon, Piccolo's resting power level with his weighted gear on was read to be 329. During the fight with Raditz it was 322, but after taking his gear off it was 408. When charging up his Mankinkosa Po, aka Special Beam Cannon, his power level reached 1330. Goku's power level went from 416 to 924 and rising with his Kamehameha. So the power level of Piccolo's moonbusting explosion should be somewhere between 408 and 1000, as the blast should exceed his own resting power level, but be less than the power level of his and Goku's charged up attacks. Nappa was able to raise his fingers and casually create a massive explosion that could be seen from space. Looking at the size of the blast, it's easily country level, and that's backed up by the fact that multiple cities were seemingly destroyed by it, and how the blast was felt by the Z-Fighters across the planet. It seems only one city was destroyed in the anime though. The guidebook has Nappa's power level at 4000, so at this level of power destroying countries and moons shouldn't be much of a problem at all. So what would Naruto's power level be? I would say in his Six Paths mode, it would probably be around 400. But in his full-sized Kurama form with Sage Chakra using his ultimate attack, I think his power level would be more around 1000. You could argue for it to be a bit higher or a bit lower, but I don't see his raw power being on par with Nappa's, as his casual attack is on par with Naruto's strongest ones. Even though this video is mostly about Naruto in his prime, just for fun I'll say where I think Naruto and some of his other forms would stand in terms of power compared to Dragon Ball characters. I think base Kid Naruto for most of his time as a Genin in Part 1 would be around Kid Goku at the beginning of the series. I think Kid Naruto using Kurama Chakra would be around Kid Goku after his Roshi training during the 21st Budokai. I think base Naruto for most of Shippuden would be around Goku during the 22nd Budokai. I think Sage Mode Naruto and Naruto after he first got control over Kurama's Chakra would be around Goku during the fight with King Piccolo. And I think Naruto after he became friends with Kurama and having complete control over his Chakra and combining it with Sage Mode would be around Goku's level during the 23rd Budokai. And like I mentioned previously, Six Paths Naruto would be around the level of Goku during the Raditz fight. However, that's only when it comes to raw power. There are many other factors when it comes to a fight, and I actually think Naruto's overall ability is higher than his power indicates. Dragon Ball characters are mostly all about just raw power, and Naruto's ninja abilities give him an advantage over them. With his shadow clones, he can try to overwhelm his opponents from different sides, and combining that with his transformation jutsu, he can trick his enemies. For example, when he threw a shuriken but it was actually him with the Rasen Shuriken, but the Rasen Shuriken was actually Sasuke. Not only that, some of Naruto's other stats are actually higher than the Dragon Ball characters who have similar destructive force as him. When it comes to physical strength, Sage Mode Naruto from the Pain Arc was able to throw a giant rhino high into the sky, while Goku from the 23rd Budokai only managed to flip over Giant Piccolo. Striking-wise, Naruto can amp his power by concentrating all of his power into his fist, like when he took down Toneri. The destruction caused just from the impact of that attack is more impressive than a lot of strikes from Dragon Ball. His strength and striking power are multiplied even further when he goes into his full Kurama avatar, which is able to fight on par with Sasuke's perfect Susanoo, which could cut up Madara's giant meteors, with just the fragments dwarfing mountain ranges. Naruto is able to dodge Madara's Light Fang technique, which according to the data book is a light speed attack. I don't actually think Naruto's light speed, but his reaction speed is around that level. Plus he has heightened senses due to Sage Mode, which helps him react to things that may move faster than he does. But I think Naruto's quick movement speeds should be at least sub-relativistic, or maybe even relativistic, to get out of the way of that attack in time. However, his movement speed from getting his entire body from point A to point B is most likely slower. Naruto in a weaker form proved he's faster than the Raikage, who Sasuke with the Mangekyo Sharingan could barely keep up with, being forced to bring out his Susanoo to defend himself. Similar to how Itachi had to bring out his Susanoo to protect himself against Sasuke's Kirin, which was stated to be as fast as natural lightning. So Naruto's movement speed should definitely be quite a bit faster than lightning after he acquired his Six Paths powers, and him casually reacting to and blocking Madara's lightning attack backs this up as well. Now, I know many people think Dragon Ball characters became faster than light during the Saiyan saga, but I highly disagree with that. Piccolo saying Raditz was faster than light was a mistranslation from the old Funimation dub. And the only way to get light speed is by trying to scale off the speed of Piccolo's moonbusting attack, which is dubious for a multitude of reasons. I won't go over all of that now though, as I'll probably make a separate video solely on the speed of Dragon Ball characters. But for now, let's go with how long it took the attack to reach the moon in the anime, since there was no time frame given in the manga, which is about 4 seconds. That would put it at about 4 times slower than light, plus the fact it had an extremely long distance through the vacuum of space, which has no resistance, that it could travel and pick up speed. So the speed of the initial ki blast in the first few hundred meters, where it is actually combat applicable, could be another few times slower. But as long as we accept the moon feat as legit, and not an outlier or plot device, then the characters at this time should at least have reaction speeds in the sub-relativistic ranges. If we don't want to use the moon feat, there's still the statement where Mr. Popo said he could strike quicker than lightning, which could arguably be a metaphor, but the anime seemed to imply that there may be some truth to it, with Goku training to dodge lightning in a filler episode. So it could be argued that Goku by the time of the 23rd Budokai should be faster than lightning. So if we accept either the moon feat or the lightning statement, Saiyan Saga characters should definitely be able to react to Naruto's speed, even if they aren't actually as fast as him. So in an actual fight, who would be the strongest character in Dragon Ball Naruto could beat? I definitely think he could beat Goku and Piccolo at the beginning of the Saiyan Saga, as they're of similar power but they don't have the versatility Naruto does. Raditz would be more powerful, but with his full-powered Kurama mode, I think he could reach a level close to Raditz. Add in how Naruto probably has superior striking power by focusing all of his chakra in his fists, clones he can attack with from different angles, and superior physical strength he could use to try and hold down Raditz. I think he can overwhelm and beat Raditz. However, if he gets careless and takes a direct hit from one of Raditz's ki blasts, he could go down. But I think he has the reaction speed to where that won't likely happen. Nappa is where Naruto starts having some problems. Nappa can raise his fingers and disperse all of Naruto's clones at once. I don't think that attack would finish Naruto off though, as it didn't seem very potent, and the Ten Tails was able to launch attacks of similar power. Nappa has also been shown to condense ki into his fist, and by doing that he was able to punch Tien's arm right off of his body, and Tien was stronger than Raditz at that point. So I think Naruto going in close and trying to fight Nappa in hand-to-hand combat isn't such a good idea. However, he can try to counter by going into his full-size Kurama mode to overpower Nappa and avoid his actual limbs getting knocked off. If one isn't enough, Naruto can make multiple full-size Kurama clones, which can try and gang up and overpower Nappa. The downside of doing that, though, is that they would be bigger targets and easier to hit, so Nappa would probably destroy them all with ki attacks rather than fighting them with his fists. The real reason I think Naruto wins this fight is due to the battle intelligence difference. Naruto fights smart and could easily trick Nappa with his transformation jutsu to get a hit in. But that isn't needed in the first place, because Nappa's stupid enough to just tank attacks from characters he thinks are weaker than him. He literally would have been killed by Krillin's Kienzan, aka Destructo Disc, if Vegeta didn't yell at him to dodge. That attack only cut a hill in half when it missed, while Naruto's lava-style Rasen Shuriken cut the God Tree in half with just the shockwave. And that tree was thicker than multiple mountains. So I do think it's highly likely that attack would at least do massive cutting damage to Nappa. And after a few more of those, with Nappa wasting his energy trying to destroy Naruto's clones, eventually he would go down. Saiyan Saga Goku after his training with King Kai is probably the character who I think is closest to Naruto in battle potential. He's an intelligent fighter and would probably counter most of Naruto's tricks, and can match and possibly overcome Naruto's chakra-infused strikes with his Kaioken. He would still probably need to dodge Naruto's Rasen Shuriken due to the cutting nature of the attack, but he should be fine tanking the explosions themselves. The biggest threat to Goku are Naruto's truth-seeking orbs. They have the power to break down the things they touch on a molecular level, similar to Inoki's dust release. If Goku gets tagged by one of these, he could be in trouble. If he's lucky, his ki will be able to deflect them, but if not, he'll have to dodge. And with Naruto's clones, transformation jutsu, and possible speed advantage, one of them landing is definitely possible. We also know about how Goku lets his guard down and that his defense becomes weaker when he does. So if Naruto tricks him into thinking he got defeated with a clone, he can possibly win by attacking Goku while he isn't expecting it. Where I think Naruto stops for sure is Saiyan Saga Vegeta. Vegeta said his fully charged Gallic Gun could destroy the Earth, and even if he meant it by destroying the core or destroying the surface or something, this level of power would still be above Naruto's. The only character in Naruto that has a good chance of being planetary is Kaguya, as it was stated her expanding truth-seeking orb had the power to start a new time-space dimension. And Kaguya's dimensions had planets in them. But Naruto couldn't defeat her alone, and even with Sasuke, they only won with a special seal. You may be thinking, but Goku was able to overpower Vegeta's Gallic Gun. Why did you say Naruto has a chance against him, but can't beat Vegeta? First off, needed Kaioken times 3 to match Vegeta's Gallic Gun, and Kaioken times 4 to overpower it. And doing that basically destroyed his body, and even then he didn't defeat Vegeta. The next big reason is Vegeta's far more ruthless. Vegeta completely ripped apart a Cybermen, which are on par with Raditz, just by pointing at it. Even if Naruto's faster, this wasn't a visible ki blast, and it could be nigh instant. If there's no dodging it, Naruto's body will be ripped apart on the spot. This attack is in character for Vegeta to use on weaker opponents, as he also did the same thing to Kui. Let's say Vegeta doesn't decide to do this, or Naruto's body's actually tougher than a Cyberman's. It's still in character for Vegeta to use area of effect attacks when pissed off, so he could still get rid of Naruto and his clones that way. And if he really found himself in some sort of trouble, he still has his Great Ape form to fall back on, which multiplies his power by 10. Naruto still has a chance due to his truth-seeking orbs possibly being able to work, but overall I think Vegeta takes a solid majority here. Sasuke actually probably has a better chance of winning against Vegeta due to Genjutsu, and Six Paths Madara and especially Kaguya have a good chance of winning due to their immortality and other special abilities, but this is where Naruto ultimately stops. So, did you agree with me on how strong Naruto would be if he were in Dragon Ball? If yes, tell me what parts you thought I got right. If no, tell me what I got wrong and how I'm a Narutard. Being a weeaboo is my ninja way.